Hello everyone and welcome to 30 days of DSA challenge where we will be solving a DSA problem every day for the next 30 days. This is day 2 where we will again solve a problem on the topic arrays, and this is going to be a easy level question. The name of the question is best time to buy and sell stocks. You will get the question link in the description and you can download this Excel sheet from the description as well. So without wasting much time, let's go to our question. So yeah, this is our question. So let's say what our question is saying. It says that you are given an array prices where prices of I is the price of a given stock on the ith day. So basically we have been given an array which is named as prices, and the price at the ith index, right? The prices at the ith index basically represents that the price of a stock on the ith day. Okay, now you want to maximize your profit by choosing a single day to buy one stock and choosing a different day in the future to sell that stock. Okay, so we want to maximize our profit by choosing a single day to buy one stock and choosing a different day in future, right? In future to sell that stock, right? And we have to return the maximum profit you can achieve from this transaction. If you cannot achieve any profit, then return 0. So this is our question and these are some test cases. So let's analyze the problem. Let's analyze the problem with the test case. Okay, so this is one of the test cases which were present on the question link. Okay, so this is our prices array, right? And this is the index, or you can also say that these are the days, right? So at day 1, right, at day 1 or at the index 1, the price of the stock is 1 rupees, or you can say 1 unit, right? On the day number 2, right, at day 2, the price of the stock is 5 rupees, right? Similarly, on day 4, at day 4, the price of the stock is 6 rupees. So I hope this thing is clear, right? This thing is clear into your head. Now let's analyze this problem, right? Let's analyze this problem. Let me just rub it off. Yeah, so let's say I buy a stock, right? I buy a stock on day 1, right? On day 1, so it will cost me 1 rupees, right? And if I've decided to sell this stock on day number 3, right, then how much profit will I make? Let's see. So now if I sell this stock on day number 3, how much money I'll get? I'll get 3 rupees, right? I'll get 3 rupees. So it is 3 rupees. Now what is the profit? What is the formula for profit? Very simple. It is sell minus buy. So the sell is 3 rupees and buy is 1 rupee. So I'll get 2 rupees, right? So now I made a profit. Of 2 rupees, right? So let's have a variable named as profit, which will hold our profit. So if I buy the stock on day 1 and if I sell the stock on day number 3, I'll make a profit of 2 rupees. Okay. Now let's say instead of selling the stock on day number 3, I decide to sell that stock on day number 4, right? Then how much money will I get if I sell the stock on day number 5? I'll get 4 rupees, right? I'll get 4 rupees. So I wrote it here, right? Let me just change the color. So now what will be the profit? Let's analyze or let's calculate the profit again. So the profit formula for profit is sell minus buy. So value of sell is 4 and buy is 1. So 4 minus 1 is equal to 3. It is again greater than what we had calculated the value of profit previously, right? Previously the value of profit was 2, but now we got another good profit, right? Now we got more maximum profit, more better profit, right? So now we can say that if I buy the stock on day number 1 and if I sell the stock on the day number 5, sorry, then I'll make a profit of 3 rupees. Okay, is it the maximum profit? No, it is not the maximum profit. So let's choose any other day to sell the stock. Okay, now if I decide that I will sell the stock on day number 4, I'll sell the stock on day number 4, then how much money will I get? I'll get 6 rupees. I'll get 6 rupees, right? Why 6 rupees? Because here 6 is written, right? So now what will be the profit? What will be the profit? Profit will be sell minus buy. What is the value of sell? 6. What is the value of buy? 1. So 6 minus 1 is equal to 5. It is again greater than the profit which we had made previously, right? So we can say that the value of profit will now become 5, and this is the maximum profit which we can make by buying a stock and selling a stock at most 1. Okay, we have to do this transaction. We have to do this transaction only once, right? We can do this transaction only once, and we have to find the maximum profit which we can make by this process. Okay, so how we will approach this question and how we will develop our intuition, right? How we will do all these things. So let's discuss it. So if you had solved the previous question, if you had solved the question on day number 1, then you might get a small hint, right? It is somehow similar to the previous question, right? And even if you have not watched the question which we had solved on day number 1, it's easy, no problem. I'll again explain the logic for this question right from scratch. You don't need to worry about it. Okay, so now the intuition, right? The intuition, the naive intuition which is coming into my head is I will try all the combinations, right? I will try all the combinations, right? And then I will return the maximum profit which I can make, right? Now what does the mean by trying all the combinations, right? What is the meaning of trying all the combinations? So let's say I buy the stock on day number 0, right? I buy the stock on day number 0, correct? So the value, we will make a buy variable and we will store the value of the price of the prices of the 0th index. So the prices at the 0th index is 7, right? Correct. So we have assumed that we had buy the stock on the 0th day, right? On the 0th day. Then how much money do I need to give to buy that stock, right? I need to give 7 rupees to buy that stock. Okay, now what I'll do, I will try to sell this stock on day number 1, on day number 2, on day number 3, on day number 4, and on day number 5. And simultaneously, I will also calculate my profit, right? So let's say I also have a profit variable which is initialized with the value 0, right? Why with the initial value 0? Because in the question it was mentioned that if we cannot make any profit, then we have to return 0, right? Okay, so let me just rub it off and then we will do a quick dry run, right? Then we will do a quick dry run. Okay, so let's say I decided to buy the stock on the 0th day. So now the value in the value in my buy variable will be 7 rupees, or I have to give 7 rupees to buy that stock. Okay, now let's say if I have decided to sell the stock on day number on day number 1, then how much money will I have? I will get how much money will I get? I will get 1 rupees. I'll get 1 rupees. Now what is the profit? Profit is very simple, sell minus buy. So it is 1 minus 7, which is equal to minus 6, and it is what? It is a negative value. What does negative value signifies? Negative value signifies that if you buy the stock on the 0th day and you sell the stock on the day number 1, then you will make a loss of 6 rupees, right? You will make a loss of 6 rupees, right? It is very simple. If you buy something at 7 rupees and you are selling the same thing on 1 rupee, then you had made a loss of 6 rupees, right? I think this is very clear into your head. Now what we'll do, we will compare this profit, right? The profit which we made. So we made what? We made minus 6, right? We made a profit of minus 6. Now we will compare this minus 6 with this 0. Is this minus 6 is greater than 0? You will say no, it is not greater. So then we will not do anything. We will not update this profit variable. Now instead of selling it on day number 1, if I decide to sell the stock on day number 2, then how much money will I get? I'll get 5 rupees, right? I'll get 5 rupees. Now what is the profit? What is the profit? Profit is sell minus buy, which is 5 minus 7, which is minus 2. It is again a negative value. What it signifies? It signifies that you made a loss of 2 rupees, right? You made a loss of 2 rupees, right? And what we want profit. So we will again compare this minus 2 with 0. Is this minus 2 is greater than 0? We will say no, so we will not update our profit, right? We will not update our profit variable. Okay, now let's say instead of selling the stock on day number 2, I decide to sell the stock on day number 3. Then how much money will I get? I'll get 3 rupees. What is the profit? Profit is sell, which is 3, minus buy, which is 7, which will give me minus 4. This is again a negative value. What does it signify? It again signifies that you made a loss of 4 rupees. Right, now we'll again compare, is this minus 4, is it greater than 0? You will say no, so we will not update our profit variable. Right, now similarly, I decide I will sell the stock on day number 4. Then how much money will I get? I'll get 6 rupees. What will the profit I'll make? Profit is very simple, sell minus buy. The value of sell is 6, the value of buy is 7. It will give me minus 1. This is again a negative value. It again signifies that I made a loss of 1 rupee. Again I'll compare, is this minus 1 is greater than 0? You will say no, it is not greater than 0. I'll say okay, no problem, I'll check the other combination. So now if I decide to sell the stock on day number 5, then how much money will I get? I'll get 4 rupees, right? I'll get 4 rupees. Now again I will calculate my profit. What will the profit? Profit will be sell minus buy, that is 4 minus 7, which is minus 3. Is this minus 3 is greater than 0? You will say no. Then we'll again not update our profit variable. Right, so what we have done till now, we have checked all the combinations, right? We have checked all the combinations, right? If I buy the stock on day number 0, right? On day number 0. Now let's say what will happen if I buy the stock instead of day number 0, if I buy the stock on day number 1, then what will happen? This is something which we are going to calculate now. Okay, so now let's say instead of buying the stock on day number 0, right, I buy the stock on day number 1. Okay, then the value at my buy variable will be 1, right? Value at the buy variable will be 1. Now as per question, we can buy a stock on any one particular day, and we have to sell the stock in future, right? In future. So again I will try all the possible combinations. So let's say I buy that stock on day number 1, and if I sell that stock on day number 2, how much money will I get? I'll get 5 rupees. I'll get 5 rupees. So this sell variable will now hold 5. Okay, now what we'll do, now we will calculate a profit. What is profit? It is very simple. It is sell minus buy. Now what is the value in a sell variable? It is 5, right? What is the value in a buy variable? It is 1. So 5 minus 1 is equal to 4, and it is a positive value. It is a positive value. What does it signify? It signifies that if you buy the stock on day number 1, which will cost you 1 rupee, and if you sell the stock on day number 2, which will give you 5 rupees, then you will make a overall profit of 4 rupees. Now we'll again calculate this 4 with this profit. So is this 4 is greater than 0? You will say yes, it is greater than 0. Then we will update our profit variable. Now our profit variable will hold 4, right? Because this was the maximum profit which we had made till now, right? Which we have made till now. Now instead of selling the stock on day number 2, if I decide to sell the stock on day number 3, then how much money will I get? I'll get 3 rupees, right? I'll get 3 rupees. Again, let's calculate the profit. What is profit? Profit is sell minus buy, that is 3 minus 1, which will give me 2. 2 is again a positive number. What does it signify? It signifies that if I buy stock on day number 1 and if I sell stock on day number 3, I will make an overall profit of 2 rupees. Correct? We will again compare this 2 with our profit variable. So we will check, is this 2 is greater than 4? You will say no, then we will not update our profit variable, right? We will not update our profit variable. Okay, so let's say instead of selling the stock on day number 3, if I decide to sell the stock on day number 4, how much money will I get? I'll get 6 rupees. So now this sell variable will hold 6 rupees. Now what will be the profit? Very simple, sell minus buy, which is 6 minus 1, which is 5, which is again a positive integer. It signifies that you made a profit of 5 rupees if you decide to buy the stock on day number 1 and sell it on day number 4. Right? Now we'll again compare this 5 with the value which we have in a profit variable. So we'll compare, is this 5 is greater than 4? We'll say yes, this is greater than 4. Then we will simply update a profit variable. Right? Again, we can update a profit variable. Now you can try out all the combinations similarly. Right? Similarly, let me write it. Similarly, you can check all the combinations, right? You can check all the combination, right? All the combination, and the maximum profit which will make, for this particular input is 5 rupees, right? Is 5 rupees. So now I hope the intuition is clear into your head. If the intuition is clear, then code is going to be very easy, right? Code is going to be very easy. So now let's write pseudocode, right? So what we are basically doing, we are just checking all the possible combinations, right? Okay, so we want to return the profit, right? So let's say I have a profit variable and its initial value is 0, right? Its initial value is 0. Then what I'll do, I will run a loop, I is equal to 0 up to n. Now what is this n? What is this n? This n is the size of the prices array, right? This is the size of the prices array. What we will do, we will again run another loop, int j is equal to I plus 1 up to n, correct? Up to n. And what we have to do, right? We want two things. First, the value of buy, and second thing is the value of sell, right? Now the value of buy will be the element which is present at the ith index, right? So the value of buy will be prices of I, and the value of sell will be prices of j, correct? Now what we want the maximum profit, right? So we will write profit is equal to maximum of profit comma sell minus buy, correct? This is what we have to do. Now why I have written this sell minus buy? Because this is the kind of, you can say that this is the formula. This is the formula for our profit, right? And at the end I just need to return my profit variable. Okay, so this is the code, quite simple, right? So let's just code it up without wasting much time. Okay, so what do we need? We just need a profit variable. So int profit is equal to 0, and then I'll write for int I is equal to 0, I is lesser than n, and then I plus plus. But what is this n? This n is the size of this prices array, right? So let me write it, int I is equal to prices dot size. Okay, now what I'll do, I'll run another loop, int j is equal to I plus 1, j is lesser than n, and then j plus plus, correct? Now the value of our buy variable will be prices of I, and the value of our sell variable will be prices of j, correct? And what we want the maximum profit. So we'll write profit is equal to maximum of profit comma sell minus buy, right? I hope this is clear. Then what do we need? We just need to return our profit. Okay, so I hope this code is clear. We had just made a profit variable and we had initialized it with 0 value. Then in n we are just storing the size of the prices array. Then we are running two loops, I from 0 to n, I plus plus, and then another loop, that is j, which is from I plus 1 lesser than n, j plus plus. We are just getting the value of buy, and we are just getting the value of sell, and then we are just calculating our maximum profit, correct? Let me just run it and see it is running fine or not. Okay, so it is running fine for the two test cases. Let me just submit this Okay, so we got time limit exceeded, right? We got time limit exceeded, so we have to optimize this solution. Let's see how we can optimize. But before optimizing the solution, let me just explain you the time complexity and space complexity. The time complexity is going to be near about O of n square. Why? Because we are running two loops, right? We are running two loops, one from 0 to n and another again from I plus 1 up to n, right? So the time complexity will be around O of n square, and the space complexity for this solution is going to be O of n, right? Now when I say we need to optimize this, right? We need to optimize. Then what is the meaning of optimization? So currently the time complexity is O of n square, and if I say we want to optimize it, so we have to think about, can I boil down this time complexity to something near about O of n, right? To something near about O of n. This is what we have to think, and the answer is yes, we can definitely optimize this, right? We can definitely optimize this. So let me just take the same example. Let me just take the same test case to explain you the optimized approach, right? Or you can say the better approach. So let me just cut it. Let me just take it down. Okay, so this is the question, right? This is the test case which we have. Now just think of it, just think again what we want, right? What we want, we want the maximum profit, right? What we want maximum profit. How we will get the maximum profit? How I will get the maximum profit? If I buy the stock, right? If I buy the stock with minimum price, with the minimum price, and if I sell the stock, if I sell the stock in the maximum possible price, right? Then I will make the maximum profit, right? Then I will make the maximum profit. Okay, this is clear. Let me just rub it off. So what we had did in our previous question, right? What we have did, we decided to buy the stock on day number 1, right? We decided to buy the stock on day number 1, and we decided to sell the stock on day number 4. Now why we decided to sell the stock on day number 4? Why? Because here we were getting the maximum profit, right? Here we were getting the maximum selling price, right? I should say that at day number 4 we were getting the maximum selling price. So now just think of if you already know what is going to be your maximum selling price, then can you calculate the maximum profit? So the answer is yes. The answer is yes. If I already know what is going to be my maximum profit, then I can definitely calculate the maximum. So if I basically know what is the maximum selling price, then I can definitely calculate my maximum profit. Correct. So what we basically need to do is we will make another array, right? We will make another array, and it will be of the same size, right? It is of the same size. Now what we will store in this array, we will store the maximum profit, right? We will store the, not maximum profit, we will store the maximum selling price, right? We will store the maximum selling price in the future, right? In the future, right? In the future we will store the maximum selling price, which is going to be in our future, right? Okay, now just imagine if you are at day number 1, what will be the maximum profit? What will be the maximum selling price? Sorry, what will be the maximum selling price in future, right? This is our future. This is our future, and we want the maximum selling price. What is maximum selling price? Maximum selling price is 6. Then we'll store this 6 in the index 1 in this array, right? In this particular array. Correct. Now again, let's say that I decided to buy the stock on day number 6, sorry, on day number 4, right? I decide to buy the stock on day number 4. Then can you tell me what will be the maximum selling price in the future? We have just 1 day left. Then what will the maximum profit? What will the maximum selling price rather? What will the maximum selling price? Maximum selling price will be 4. So at the index number 4 in this particular array, we will store 4. What does this 4 signifies? This signifies that if I buy the stock on day number 4, then the maximum selling price I can get in my future is 4 rupees. Right? So I hope this is clear. Again think of, if I decide to buy the stock on day number 3, then in future what will be my maximum profit? Maximum profit will be 6. So in the index number 3 we will store 6, right? So this is the intuition behind this particular approach, right? So what we will basically do, so let's say that if I decide to buy the stock on day number 5, then what will be the maximum selling price in the future? So you will say, sir, we do not have any future, this is the last day. So what we'll do, we will just store 4 here, right? As it is the last day, we will store 4 here. Okay, then I'll come to index number 4, right? Now, if I'm at the index number 4, I'll again ask you what is the maximum selling price you can make in future. Maximum selling price is 4. So we have stored 4 here, right? Now we are at day number 3. So now I'll again ask you what will be the maximum profit you can make in future. So in future, we have 2 days left. We had this day number 4 and day number 5, and the maximum profit I can make on both the days is 6. So we'll just store this 6 at the index number 3, correct? I hope this makes sense to you. Okay, now let's say I decide to sell the stock on day number 2, right? Then what will be the maximum selling price in future? You will say, sir, 6 is going to be the maximum profit, right? So I'll write 6 here, right? Similarly, if I decide to sell the stock on day number 1, I'll again ask you what will be the maximum selling price in the future. You will say, sir, the maximum selling price is going to be 6. So we store 6 at index number 1. Similarly, if I decide to buy the stock on day number 0, then what will be the maximum profit, or what can be the maximum selling price? In the future? So in the future, the maximum selling price is 6. So we will store 6 here, right? And this way, this particular array will be calculated, right? Now once if we have calculated this array, then our task is going to be very, very, very easy, right? Very, very, very easy. Let's say, let me just zoom in. Yeah. So let's say I decide to buy the stock on day number 0, right? So the value in my buy variable will be 7, and I like when we will sell this stock, when we'll get the maximum selling price. What is the maximum selling price? We can directly get in this array. The maximum selling price is 6, right? So the maximum selling price is 6. What will be the profit? Profit is going to be very easy. It is sell minus buy, so it is 6 minus 7, which is going to minus 1, right? So what does it signify? This minus 1 signifies that we will make a loss of 1 rupees if I buy the stock on this day, and if I sell with this selling price. Okay, so we will again try something else instead of this. Now let's say I decided I will buy the stock on day number 1. What will be the buy value? It will be 1. Now, when do we sell this stock? We want the maximum profit, and in order to maximize our profit, we want to sell with the maximum selling price. Now, what is the maximum selling price? In the future, we can directly get in this array. It is 6. So what does it signify? That, so firstly, let's calculate the profit. Profit is sell minus buy, which is 6 minus 1, which is equal to 5. So this signifies that we can make a profit of 5 rupees if I decide to buy the stock. On day number 1 and sell it on day number 4. So see here, we are not concerned about about the day, right? The question says just return me the profit. Question does not says that return me the buy day, on which day you buy the stock, and question also does not say that return me the sell day, right, when you sell the stock. Question is not saying this. Question is very clear. Question just says that give me the maximum profit, right? Question says that give me the maximum profit. And with this particular approach, we can give the maximum profit, but we cannot give the day on which we buy that stock and the day on which we sold that stock. Okay, so I hope this approach is clear into your head. And now let's focus on how we can make this array, right? How we can make this array. So let's take the same input, which is 7 1 5 3 6 4. So we have 7 1 5 3 6 and 4, and the indexes are 0 1 2 3 4 and 5, right? These are the indexes. Okay, so what we want another array. So let me just create another array, right, of the same size, 0 1 2 3 4 5. Okay, now what we will do, we will run a loop from the index 5, that is the index of n minus 1, up to index number 0, right? And then we will calculate the maximum, right? So instead of running a loop from n minus 1, what we can do is we can also run a loop from n minus 2, right? Why I am saying this? Because after day number 5 we have nothing, right? After day number 5 we have nothing. So how we can calculate the maximum profit in the future? We cannot, right? So we'll simply push 4 here, because 4 was the last element which was present into our array, and we will calculate the maximum selling price from n minus 2. Okay, how we are going to calculate it? So we will have a variable named as maxi, which will hold this value, which will hold the 4. What is 4? 4 is the last element which was present into our prices array, right? Okay, so now at this particular moment, let's say that our I is at index number 4. Now we will compare the prices of I and maxi, right? Which is maximum? Is this prices of I is maximum than my maxi? Just tell me, is this prices of I is maximum than my maxi? You will say yes sir, it is maximum. So what we'll do, we will write 6 here, right? We will write 6 here and we'll update it with 6. Okay, now we'll come here. What is the price? Price is 3. Is it greater than my maxi, which is going to 6? No, it is not. Then in that case, what we'll do, we'll just put this 6 into our array, right? Again my I will now move to index number 2. Correct. Now we will compare this 5 with this maxi. Is this 5 is greater than my 6? You will say no, this is not. Then what we'll do, we will just put this value 6 here, right, in this array, right? Similarly, we will come at index number 1 and we will again see what the value we have at index number 1. We have 1. Now we'll again compare, is 1 is greater than 6? You will say no, so just put the value of maxi here. Value of maxi is 6, correct? Now we will move at index number 0. What is the value we have stored at index number 0? It is 7. So what we will store, it is greater than 6, right? It is greater than 6. So we'll update our maxi and we'll store 7 here, right? So in this way, this maximum cell array will be computed, right? This maximum cell array will be computed. Now you might get confused that, sir, the maximum selling this array, what does this signify? It signifies that what will be the maximum profit I can make in the future, right? What will the maximum selling price, right? Maximum selling price I can get in the future. But here you have stored 7. 7 is not in the future. You have just stored this particular value here. Then will it affect our answer? Will it affect our calculation? So the answer is no, it will not. Why? If I buy the stock and sell the stock on the same day, I'll make a 0 profit. And if it is a 0 profit, we will not consider it. Correct. So I hope this is clear, and if you have any doubt with this, please do a dry run, and then this particular intuition or this particular approach will be clear into your head. So now let's just write the code. So we will make a vector named as max sell, right? It will have the maximum selling price, and the size of this vector will be n, right? N is the size of our prices array, right? And we will also make another variable, that is int mini, which will hold the prices of n minus 1, and in the max cell of n minus 1 we will put the prices of n minus 1, right? Why this I'm saying, because here we saw that we just put the value at the n minus 1 index directly into our array, right? Directly into our array. So this was the reason. And here we will also have one profit variable, right? We will also have one profit variable which will be initialized to 0. Then we need to fill this array, right? We need to fill this array. So we will run a loop from int I is equal to n minus 2, I is greater than equal to 0, and then I minus minus, correct? What I'll do, I'll write maxi is equal to maximum of maxi and prices of this I, right? And the prices of this I, correct? Then what I will do, the name of my vector is maximum cell. So maximum cell of I will be what? Will be my maxi, correct? And in this particular way, this particular vector will be filled, right? This particular vector will be filled. Now our work is going to be very easy. We'll just run a loop from I is equal to 0 up to n. We will get the value of buy as prices of I, and we will get the value of sell from our maximum cell array, right? At index number I. Then what we'll do, we will write a profit is equal to maximum of profit and sell minus buy, correct? And at the end we will return our profit, right? We will return our profit. So this is the code, right? This is going to be our code, this is going to be our approach. And if I talk about the time complexity, right? If I talk about the time complexity, then it is very simple. It is going to be O of n plus O of n. Why so? Because here we are running a loop, right, from 0 to n, and here again approximately we are running a loop from 0 to n. So the time complexity will be O of n plus O of n, which is approximately equal to O of n, and the space complexity is also going to be O of n. Why the space complexity is O of n? Because we had made a array, right? We had used a array, or we had used a vector of the size n named as max cell. So I hope this approach is clear. Now let me just code it without wasting much time. Okay. So here we are. What do we need? We have this profit, we have the value of n, we need a vector of int named as max cell, which will have of size n, and we will do that the max cell of n minus 1 is equal to prices of n minus 1, correct? And we'll have int maxi is equal to prices of n minus 1, correct? Then what we will do, we will fill our maximum cell vector. So how we will do, we will run a loop for int I is equal to n minus 2, I is greater than or equal to 0, I plus plus, correct? And we will do maxi is equal to maximum of maxi comma prices of n minus 1, and we will just put the value of maxi in my max cell vector, right? I'll write this maxi. Once it is done, I'll simply run a loop, right, for int I is equal to 0, I is lesser than n and then I plus plus, correct? Now int buy is going to be prices of I, and int sell is going to be max sell of I, and then I will write profit. Profit is equal to maximum of profit comma sell minus buy. Okay, so this is going to be our code. Let's just see it again. So we have a profit variable and initial value is 0, then n stores the size of the price array, then we have a vector, we just put the last value as it is, we run a loop from I is equal to n minus 2. So instead of doing I plus plus, we will do I minus minus, right? Because we are running a loop from n minus 2 up to 0, so we'll do I minus minus, not I plus plus. Then maxi is equal to maximum of maxi and price of n minus I. So this will also not be n minus 1, it will be I, right? It will be I, and then max sell of I is equal to maxi for I is equal to 0, I lesser than n. I think rest of the code is cool, is right. Now let's run and let's see. Okay, so you can see that all the 2 test cases are getting passed. Let me just submit this. Okay, so now you can see that this solution is accepted. But again, I'll ask you, can we optimize this solution? Can we optimize this solution? How we can optimize? We are just using an extra space of O of n. Can we remove this? Can we remove this? So the answer is yes, we can definitely remove this. So the time complexity for the previous solution was O of 2n near about, and the space complexity was also O of n. Now we will try to solve this question in a constant space, right? In O of n, in O of 1, sorry. So in a previous approach, what we were doing, so in the previous approach, we were calculating the maximum selling price, right? Maximum selling price. Now, can we think in a reverse order, right? Can we think in reverse order? I mean, so I'll say yes, we can definitely think in reverse order. How? So we will try to find out what is the least price of the stock, right? What is the least price of the stock? And in order to make the maximum profit, what I'll do, I'll buy that stock in the least price, okay? If I buy the stock in the least price and if I sell, then I'll somehow calculate the maximum profit, right? How? You will get to know when I'll do a dry run, right? So let me just show you this approach, how it will work, and with the dry run you will understand this approach. Okay, so let's say we have a variable which is named as mini, which initially stores what? It initially stores the value which is present at the index number 0. So the value present at index number 0 is 7, right? And we will run a loop from index number 1 up to index number 5, right? From index number 1 up to index number 5. Okay. So now let's say I am at index number 1. So if I decide, just think in this way, right? If I decide to sell this stock, on day number 1, how much money will I get? I'll get 1 rupee, right? But for selling, I have to buy that stock also, right? So let's say I buy the stock at index number 0. So right, my buy was 7, and what will be my profit? Profit will be sell minus buy, which is minus 6, which is again a negative value, so it signifies that we made a loss. Okay. Now what we will do, my I, after doing all these operations, right, my I is at index number 1. So now I'll compare what is the value present at index number 1. The value present at index number 1 is 1. I will compare my mini. Is this 7 is lesser than 1? You will say yes. So now I'll update this mini, right? I will update this mini to 1. Now what does this mini signifies? It signifies that up to this index, right? Up to index number 1, the least price of the stock, is 1 rupee. Okay, I hope it is clear. Now let's say I moved at index number 2. Now if I decide to sell the stock on day number 2, I'll get 5 rupees. But before selling, I have to buy that stock also. So I will buy the stock on the day. So sorry, I will buy the stock when I'll get the minimum or the least price of the stock. So what is the least price of the stock? Least price of the stock is 1 rupee. Just think in way that you buy the stock with rupees 1 and you sell the stock with rupee 5. Then what will be your profit? Your profit will be 5 minus 1, which will be equal to 4. And simultaneously we will store a we will store a variable named as profit, and the initial value of the profit will be 0. We'll calculate this profit for, is it greater than 0? You will say yes. So we'll just update this profit. Right? Now, after doing these things, we will again compare what is the value present in our mini variable. It is 1, right? And what is the value present at this index number 2? It is 5. Now I will check what is the minimum. In 1 and 5? What is the minimum? You'll say minimum is 1. It is already there. Do not update it. You do not need to update it. Okay. Now let's say I moved at index number 3. Now I sell the stock on day 3. I got the profit. I got the selling price 3 rupees, and I had buy that stock on day number 1, which cost me rupee 1. Then the profit will be 3 minus 1, which will be 2, which is lesser than my profit. So I will not update it. Right, I'll not update it. And after doing this thing, I'll again compare in 1, which is the value of my price, sorry, which is the value of my mini, and the value present at index number I is 3. What is the minimum? Minimum is 1. Minimum is 1. Is it lesser than 1? No. So I'll not update my mini variable, right? I'll not update this. I'll not update my mini variable. Similarly, I'll go at index number 4. So just think in this way. I sell the stock at day number 4, I got 6 rupees. Now if I buy that stock on day number 1, which cost me 1 rupee, then the maximum profit would be 5. Is it greater than what we already have in a profit variable? You will say yes. So just update your profit variable. Right? And again we will compare our mini, which is 1, and the value present at this index, which is 6. What is the minimum? Minimum is 1, which is already there. So we do not need to update it. Right, we do not need to update it. Similarly, if I decide, so similarly, let's say I came at index number 5, right? So if I sell the stock on day 5, I'll get 4 rupees, and if I buy that stock on day 1, which cost me rupees 1, then the profit would be 3. And is it greater than what I had already in my profit variable? You will say no. So I'll not update it. And similarly, after performing these operations, we will just compare our mini variable. It have 1, and the value stored at index number 5, which is this 4, 1 and 4. What is the minimum? Minimum is 1, so it will not update our mini, because in mini we already have 1, right? So I hope this particular approach is clear into your head. If not, just do a dry run and then you will get familiar with this particular approach, right? Okay, so what we need a mini variable, right? We need a mini variable which will store the value at the 0th index. Then we also need a profit variable which will hold 0 initially, and then we will basically run a loop for int I is equal to 0 up to n, correct? Then what we'll do, int sell is equal to prices of I, and int buy is equal to mini, right? So instead of this is wrong here. Instead of running our loop from 0, I'll run it from 1, right? I'll run it from 1. Okay, then what I'll do, I'll just do this profit is equal to maximum of profit and sell minus buy. After doing all this, I'll say mini is equal to minimum of mini and prices of I, correct? And after this, we will return our profit variable. So in this way, we will solve this particular question, and this is the most optimal approach, right? This is the most optimal approach where the time complexity is O of n and the space complexity is O of 1. So without wasting much time, let's code it up. So we are here in LeetCode. Okay, so let me just delete all this thing. Yeah. Okay, so now what we need a variable named as mini, which will store the value at the 0th index in our prices array, and then we will run a loop for int I is equal to 1, I is lesser than n, and then I plus plus, then int cell is equal to prices of I, and int buy is equal to my mini, and then the profit is equal to maximum of profit comma cell minus buy, right? Profit is equal to this profit is equal to maximum of profit or comma cell minus buy, and then we just need to update our mini is equal to minimum of mini comma prices of I. Okay, so I hope this is correct. Let's run this. Okay, so you can see that the two sample test cases are accepted. Let me just submit this. Okay, so you can see that this particular approach is also accepted. So this was all for this video. This was all for day number 2. I hope you liked this video. I hope you liked all the 3 approaches, the brute force, the better, and the optimal approach. If you like this video, then please do subscribe to the channel, hit the like button, and comment down your experience or your approach, right? So thank you. We will meet again next day.